Hello everyone, I got a bit of a dizzy head. We've all just been banging away in the background, and yeah, that wasn't a good idea. John was giving it the old fan down. I was like this, yeah, that was just, and I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? Space head. Ian was just, what the fuck's going on? Trying to get his camera right. I love it. Right, guys. Roger says, evening all. Baz, I have an email to Superfan Dan, but addressed it to John, Brainfrog. Well, don't you worry, because they're both on the channel tonight, so they will know about it now. There we go. I think he's on the panel tonight. Of course he is. Even everyone, be an interesting show tonight. Oh, God, yes, it will be. I was dreading tonight, and I'm so glad 3 people are on with me, because it was just me and Ian. I could have lost it tonight, but I've got to be, do the usual stuff, adhere to community guidelines and all that sort of stuff. There's the link if you want to become a member. It's saved at the top of the chat. All you got to do is click on it, and then you can choose whether you want to pay 99p or up to $4.99, and you can join the channel and get entered into a prize draw and help give money to charity. Roger, Gary. Jules is in the house as well. Good evening, Jules. Buzzing to have you all in what is going to be quite a difficult show, depending on who ends up being in the chat. But let's get the co-host in first. How are we doing, Ian?
Good evening, mate. How are you doing?
Still fiddling with your camera.
It just doesn't seem right tonight, but hey, we'll go for it.
Your best side yet? Has you got your best side yet?
I ain't got no best sides. Yeah, it's either front way if you like it or not. I'm not a Photoshop guy.
Love it. Did you win on Saturday?
Sorry?
Did you win on Saturday? How did you get on?
Mate, preparation obviously started Thursday night. Obviously we had the show Friday, which was fantastic. Again, got all my bag and everything ready, going through your normal ritual, what you do. Saturday morning, got up early, lovely and fresh. Great preparation. Got everything sorted. Just about to set off. Message in the group chat, referee pulled out, called off. Devastated. Honestly.
Brilliant.
No, the thing is, though, mate.
It's like that episode of The Likely Lads when they're trying to avoid the score, and they get all the way through the end of the day, then the whole game's called off.
The wife and the bands went, I cannot put up with him today, mate, because for about an hour I was just walking around with a face like, honestly, like a slapped arse, going off at me. And I was going.
This was your chance to go out for a 5-mile run and kick the ball against the wall and get your touch ready for next week.
No, but the thing is, though, because we were playing at Sherburn, and they're half and half. I'm going half. I'll tell you what it is now. Half of these are going to the match, and the refs are macking. And I was going, I'm telling you now, he's macking him like he's pulled out. Raging me. But unfortunately, we didn't. Obviously, the game was postponed. I was devastated, mate.
It happens. But you went out for a run. You kicked the ball about. You got your touch back in.
No. I didn't. No.
I opened a bottle of wine. I got a big glass.
No.
With sorrows.
No. Exactly. Like lemonade. Like I said to you.
Lemonade.
No, there's lemon. I'm telling you now, there's no more wine, because this is a different me now.
Do you believe him?
I hope you do.
I hope. I certainly do. I always take Ian at face value. I'm always going to say, if he's telling me something, he's telling me the truth. So if he's off the wine, if he's off the beer, and he's drinking lemonade, then okay, fair enough. But when we come over in January, we'll be on the beers. Yes. All right. Good evening, lads. Good to see you.
Good evening. How are you doing? How was the Vegas?
Well, what
happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Well, the work was work. It was a convention, so I was putting in between 12 and 15,000 steps, every day, going back and forth.
It is a convention, but it was Comic-Con.
Yeah. Well, no. I was actually at the Oracle database, global convention. So
sorry, Dan, you were in a right mood. Yeah, you were in a right mood tonight, you Baz.
That's because we were all having a dance party to the intro music in the studio. Poor Baz got a light head before we even started. So
yeah.
No, so I went to the Oracle convention, and that was a blast. But when everybody started to arrive on Friday night for the MBFC match away, we just had a right piss up, and it was absolutely wonderful. We celebrated one of the attendees, one of our participants, celebrated her 50th birthday on the Monday when we were all returning. So we had a great time Sunday night just celebrating with each other. We had a good core group of about 9, 10, maybe 11 that hung out together all weekend long, and it really solidified the whole family aspect of it. So, and when I say family, it's all adults over 40, and we were just having a great time with each other. So no, and the trip ended in a 0-0 draw, and then last night we played another team to a 0-0 draw. So we're not scoring goals, but we're not giving up goals. So I'll take every point with a bit of sunshine. So we'll go from there.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring him.
Hey,
And there he is.
How are you,
John.
guys? How are you? Hey, you know what? I was down the hall. I was searching for a uniform that would describe my mood, and I got the dark one out, right? The dark mood. And then I'm all the way down the hall, and I hear the music playing. I'm like, yeah, I get to be with my buds. So it's funny how that music has really grown on me. I love it. The intro music, Dan and I have fun with it.
It gets you going, doesn't it? It really
Yeah,
does. So, John, you were living it up. You had your number one fan on your side, Warren Barton,
that was
yesterday.
crazy. Hey, I said, hey, Warren, just a real quick shout out to some guys at home. And all he did was say, oh, there's John. Oh, he's everywhere. He starts talking about me. It's like, no, shout out.
I actually sent him the video and said, this is John. I'm so glad he got to meet you. I can't believe he did a shout out for me and Dan when you got you on. This is who I want you to do a show with. And he just liked it. And that was it. I was like, say something back.
After I was done, I was like, damn it, I forgot to mention Ian. It's like there's 4 of us here, And I'm like,
well, that's because he was in the corner kicking the cat because the game was canceled.
Yeah.
No, I just felt bad about that. And it's like you can't call him back. It's like, hey, let's do it again. Take 2, So yeah, I always like to give credit to other people, and that's all I wanted him for was like, hey man, give a shout out to my guys, So I felt bad.
No, it was brilliant. I loved it. It was a great video.
He just
obviously knows how much of a legend you are.
He just took over. He just started talking.
Well, he's a media personality. He knows.
He's great. He's great.
He knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
And I gave him a shout out too. I did a post and I said, this guy was like just number one guy. I mean, he was visiting with the fans. He didn't have to stick around after he gave his speech and everything. So he just visited with anybody that wanted to walk over and talk to him. I just hung back because it's like, no, I've talked to him a few times and let somebody else have chances. There's a lot of people that don't get over to England and they're at those fan fests and they don't get, to any other things. So yeah, it was fun.
You're a good lad, John.
It looked fun. It really did. But unfortunately, we are here to discuss this.
Yes.
Okay.
I know. It did look like it was going to start well again.
Yeah.
For the 5th game in a row, for the first 5, 6, 7 minutes, everything was hunky dory.
Yeah.
We're playing some nice football. We had the goal disallowed.
Yep.
Which at one point I thought, why is he giving offside there? Then when you saw the replay, Joe Willock unfortunately had stepped a yard offside.
Yep.
Good finish from Joe Linton. Which Sean Longstaff wouldn't be able to do, by the way, Stephen, who's in the chat. He smashed it in off the bar, and it was a great finish. And I thought, get in, we're off and running. This is the perfect start. This is what we've been waiting for. And then it all went wrong. 32 seconds later, 32 seconds later, they go down the other end of the pitch and score and put themselves 1-0 up. And I was very disappointed with the 2 goals. The first 2 goals we conceded. The third goal obviously happened because we were trying to push the game, which we'll come to later.
Right.
But Ian, you've got some pictures prepared. You're going to talk us through the first goal and also the second goal about what you think was wrong with it, and then we're going to have our say on it. Yours is going to be very technical and elaborated, and ours is going to be, well, it was just shit. So here's the first. I mean, again, Ian, it starts from a throw-in from inside. That's the second goal. We want the first goal, don't we? So the first goal is down the right-hand side. I believe it started from a corner, didn't it? That shouldn't have been a corner. Is my mind playing tricks on me?
Yeah. Now, see the thing is now. Look at Lloyd Kelly.
By the way, I've highlighted all them in the middle, which you did, because look at how many people are around the goal scorer.
Yeah. Now, I didn't. For me, that's not the issue. The issue is simply Lloyd Kelly now has got the man on the ball, but he's instructing Harvey Barnes to get closer to his man because he's more concerned about the overlapping runner.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, for me, when you've got three players there around that ball should never ever come into that.
Nope.
Into that ball. Never ever come in the box. Now, what happens is he just cuts inside, and Harvey Barnes he just leaves like a lazy leg outside. Right. That's the distance in between.
Yep.
Right before that, and that's not good enough, especially when you've got. Do you know if you're 1-on-1 and you leave that? That's still not good enough. But when you've got security of two other players around you, Harvey Barnes should be tight and forcing an issue there, mind. And he's allowed him just to take an easy touch, then drift the ball inside, where Fab Shaw's not tight enough. He's allowed him to take an easy touch before you notice one. Do you know what? It's on the turn. It's a great finish. But where it
is a great finish,
right? But where it starts.
But how do you get from that? He's just ghosting in, and then it is a lovely pass because it's straight at his chest and it's flat, so it's impossible for Dan Burn to attack it. It's impossible for Shaw to attack it. However, for me, if Shaw is tighter, and even when he chests that down, Dan Burn should be sensing the danger that he's bringing that down. He's not trying to head it, so shouldn't he have got tighter himself as well?
No,
like got a bit further across.
Definitely not, because your positional sense. Where it starts from, that was fine because you've got four players marking one. The issue
but it ends up 4-on-3 in the end, doesn't it?
The issue is where it stops. You've got to stop the source that's coming in. So if you go back again, Baz.
I agree, you've got to stop the source, but you've also got to think if the source is coming in, what's your plan B and plan C to stop it?
Look at that. Look at that situation.
I know, it's crazy.
That is crazy. You've got four players marking one. You've got 3-on-2. All that is right? It's down to desire to make it. It's down to desire and a willing to stop the source. And if you watch it in real play, Harvey Barnes he's just a lackluster there. And everybody pointed the finger at Lloyd Kelly. By the way, he didn't. He was stuck in two minds because he had an overlapper coming, which created the space for the cross. Harvey Barnes should have closed Traore down.
Traore, yep.
He should have closed him down. What he did was he stood where he was and hung a leg, which is not acceptable. And then the balls come in, and I am not putting a finger at Dan Burn at all because that's where he should be. He's stopping everything going in. It's the source that should have been stopped in my eyes, and that's not good enough.
I agree. I'm just thinking of the second phase. If the ball does get in the box, could we? Shaw should be tighter for a start. He made it too easy for him to turn. But I just think Dan Burn, if he's looking at the ball, he's looking at how Jimenez is lining that up. I think he should have took another 2 steps before that ball even comes down, potentially, to smother it, to get on top of it. Because he's not marking anyone, is he? There's nobody else threatening other than the person with the ball. No one's running off him to get an easy ball inside of Dan Burn or to lay it off. Nobody's there. So for me, he should be gambling, personally, to win that ball. As soon as he brings that down, he's banging into him.
See, for me, if I was playing that was Lloyd Kelly, right, I would not have pointed a finger at Fabian Shaw and even that. I would have absolutely roasted Harvey Barnes.
I agree with that. But
because
phase 2.
That phase does not happen if these have the right attitude to stop the cross coming in at source.
I agree.
Bad.
But then do you not think we could have done better in the second phase as well, though? That's what I'm basically pointing out. There's two phases in the game, because the first phase, yes, you're right, we should have stopped the ball from going in. But then when phase 2 happens, I still think we're too lackluster in what we were doing.
I agree. We're off. Shaw's off, but you can't point the finger at Dan Burn.
No, I'm not pointing the finger at him. I'm just saying, do you not think he could have done this in an ideal world? Or he should have done this, looking at it.
Dan Burn's positional play is absolutely bang on. Because if that ball comes across the front, he's there to intercept it. Fab Shaw, if I'm being critical, should have been tighter. But for me, that second phase should never ever have happened. There's either of them 3 players there only up against that ball should never ever have came in.
Yeah, it is frustrating when you see it. And then
we know that Traore also covers his arms in Vaseline before the game, so that if you try and get a hold of him, he's just slippering. He admitted that when he was at Wolves. He said he did it all the time. So,
yeah, I don't blame him.
He doesn't. He never misses curl day. I mean, come on. Jeez Louise.
Doesn't lift weights. That's what he used to say. I don't lift weights.
So he does 600 press ups every day.
That's what he does. That's what he actually does. Things where he doesn't lift weights. He lifts
it's all body weight.
People and like pressure against using your. It's just like that. That's technically, if you're lifting someone, you're lifting a weight. It's not being stupid.
Yep.
Yeah. John, do you fully agree with Ian? Do you think there's anything more we could have done? It's just frustrating, isn't it? Because we're talking 32 seconds from scoring, being disallowed to being 1-0 down.
I forget who I was listening to. It might have been Alan Shearer. Somebody was talking about this is just basic. This is so basic, and we blew it.
Yeah.
And it was like magic for them. It was like, whoa, we'll just get around all these people that are right in front of us. I don't know. That was the beginning. Yeah, it was crazy. I hated to see it, especially when we had some good minutes before that, and then it was like, whoa, come on. And it reminds me of a few years ago when the other team would get a goal and we would just disappear. The rest of the game, it was like, oh, if you get the first goal against us, the game's over, and that's the way we played. So it was very disappointing.
Very, very disappointing. And then the second goal is even worse for me because it comes from a throw in to start on our left-hand side, their right-hand side, and we're talking 3/4 into their half, aren't we? Almost.
Yeah.
It's a long way to go, but we got out. It was so easily caught out with the throw-in. They tried to make the run twice from the throw-in, and they didn't get the runner. Then suddenly they got the runner. Nobody followed them. They played it inside. As you've got all your lines coming here, you've got 3 midfielders there, out of position now, just from a single throw-in.
Yeah.
Then you transition into this one. You've got 3-on-3 sort of on the left-hand side. I mean, the line's not too bad, but you can't have 3 players over there. And you're pulling Trips out there and you're pulling Shaw out there because that leaves the big gap in the middle, which, look how close Bruno is there. That is Bruno in the middle, isn't it? Yeah, look how close he is to him. And then you see this transition. They're all ball watching. And I've highlighted in the middle as well, which no one really noticed, but it's 3-on-2 in the middle. So they decided to cross it. We were screwed anyway. But then you've got Willock and Gordon just jogging back. Bruno got back in a sort of a decent position, but then he lets Emile Smith-Rowe run off in front of him. And then he shot. I mean, Jesus, the more they kept on replaying it, and I saw Nick Pope fall to his knee and literally hand the ball into the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting more angry every time I saw it because that is not how Pope saves a ball. He dives on that comfortably and smothers it. What was going on?
Isn't it that left shoulder that he had repaired last year? Was he favoring that shoulder?
He's made plenty of saves on that shoulder already, though. That's the thing. It's frustrating.
Well, you might have a point, Dan.
I just,
the second goal for me, I think it's worse than the first one because there's so many more involved in it. Now, how it actually breaks down and it shows desire for a team to go forward, especially down the left-hand side, where you've got Robinson coming in from such a deep area that with Smith Rowe and Iwobi on that side, that makes an overload on Trips. Now, when you look back on that slide there, Trips is caught with 3 men coming on that side. Right now, if you're a fullback and you've got 3 players coming at you, where do you physically go? You've got to show them outside, right? Look at Joe Linton. Look who's running past him, right? Now, that's the man that started the whole thing in his own half. He just ambles. He's got a desire to go past Joe Linton. But for me, Willock and Gordon are just ambling back, which is not good enough. For me, when you've got 3 defenders there, right? You've got right. Bruno engages the ball.
It's 4 on 2 there, isn't it? On that side now, we've managed to get 2 back potentially.
Not that side.
The 2 in the middle.
Bruno engages the ball, which allows his runner to run off him, which is Smith Rowe. But Joe Linton does not read.
Follow the run, he doesn't read it.
He doesn't read it, but it's Bruno's fault for getting. What he's done is just he's getting suckered into a ball which he had not one chance did he have to win that ball, because Trippier was there and Fab Shaw was already there, so you got a 2-on-1. So he engages that ball, which leaves the space for Smith Rowe to run in, but because of Joe Linton's ambleness, doesn't close that space down. It's just another poor goal. Absolutely poor goal. But for me, the attitude of the players getting back behind the ball as well, and even Joe Linton ambling in, it's just another terrible goal. But Bruno was just tunnel vision and wanting to make that tackle, which create the space for Smith Rowe when it was his man in the first place, when it was on his blind side. It's a bad goal.
Yeah, very bad goal. So this brings us to our big talking point tonight: is where's the intensity gone? Why isn't the midfield working anymore? It used to, bust a gut every single game, Dan. Where's the intensity gone in our players? Where's the bite gone? Where's the nastiness gone? Where's the shithousery tactics gone, like we saw Arsenal do today at Man City? Why has it all disappeared? I pointed out yesterday, and I said in a tweet, don't worry, Dan, I'm coming to you.
No. It was very schoolboy of me, but no.
It was. I basically said, this is a serious question. Have we gone soft? Because we had no yellow cards in this game. Fulham had 6. They had 16 fouls to our 8. And they broke up our player all the time by doing that, by being that shithousery and by doing those little niggly fouls, pulling the shirts back, breaking the play up, stopping Bruno playing. But then we just let them waltz through us. What has happened?
And we had 60+% of the possession.
Possession.
It was
in football these days.
But what I'm saying is, you go back and look at our best results last year. We were a counter-attacking team. We always had somewhere in the 30s, in the very low 40s. Every time that we've had 60% of the possession, we failed to do anything with the ball. And I said this to John. I said this to John in our first Barcode Banters last year. Why is it that every time Joe Linton and Bruno bleach blonde their hair, it takes them 2 matches to get their shit together?
Maybe the
I'm not kidding.
Going to the brain.
Peroxide is sinking into the brain and not doing. No, I'm not kidding. If you go back and look, when Bruno's at his best, he doesn't have frosted tips. I tell you that. He tore apart Fulham last year, and he was dark haired. I'm just. You're absolutely right, Baz. We're lacking in an intensity there that we've become known for, especially with those two. With the 2 Brazilian guys. I mean, Joe Linton has been a beast. And let's be honest, in the last 2-3 games, he's been a lamb.
Since his injury, really. Even when he came back at the end of last season, obviously he was still trying to get up to speed, but he's not hit that heights of those performances before his injury.
And I would say to that, if I'm Eddie Howe, am I looking at, I don't want to bring Longstaff in. Maybe now is where I bring in Tonali with Willock and Bruno, and give Bruno and give Joe Linton a rest. But less said about Bruno yesterday, the better as well. We all put him on a pedestal. We all love Bruno in the middle, but not good enough yesterday at all.
See, this is my point where a captaincy, right, is huge.
Yep.
And a captaincy on your shoulders, when you're not used to being a captain, and such a huge honour, your performances will dip, right? So when you haven't got that, he's not, like I keep saying, he's not a captain. No way is he a captain in my eyes, because captains stand tall, right? Yeah. When you're playing shit, anybody can put a statement out to say, I'm sorry for this and sorry for that. Anybody can do that. But it's how you stand out as a figure on that football pitch. Now, I've seen captains over.
But what he said was good, though. I mean, we've got to give him a little bit of credit. He has come out and said it. He said it was my fault. I own my performances. They've been poor, and we will get better. It's what you want to hear from your captain. I know it's just words sometimes, but like you said, we want to see it going forward now, don't we?
If you never hear Jamal Lascelles come out and say that.
Well, he rollicked them all in the changing rooms, didn't he?
Jamal Lascelles is a bigger captain than Bruno Guimaraes, by the way.
No, I don't disagree. But it's hard to say Bruno's not a captain when he's captain in Brazil. He's also captained in the 21s. He's captained, Leon. He has been a captain. But he's a different type of captain to what you like, I think.
It's a different level, Baz. Now, the reason why I watched him yesterday, specifically when things were going wrong, and not once did I see him put a boot up anybody else's arse and say, come on, that's not good enough. And he did not go around that football pitch as a captain to rally the troops together when things were digging deep. He just carried on in his own way, and he just carried on in his Bruno Guimaraes way. Captains don't do that.
I think
Roy Keane, right, would not have accepted that yesterday. And even if his own abilities was poor, his figure, his ability to use his mouth and get people into different positions to other players that would go, that ain't acceptable. In, come on, we need more. That's a captain.
I think you're right.
Bruno does not give you that.
I think you're right, Ian. He's focused on his self and his game, and maybe not emphasizing enough the captaincy. That's what it appears.
But the thing is,
it's a tough one, isn't it? Because now we're giving them the armband. How do you take it?
What you've got to realize, right, is he is a special player.
Right.
And you've got to let him be free.
Yeah.
And when he's free, he's the best about, that. But when you've put something as big as a captaincy as Newcastle United on his shoulders, some players can't do that as much as they want to do that. Let him be free. Let him be free, and just let that pressure of someone else go onto someone else's toes. That can be that level to do it. I just don't think Bruno is that captain at Newcastle United. I've always said he's a world-class footballer. He ain't a captain that stands out like a sore thumb.
I mean, Gary might have hit the nail on the head as well. Bruno's come back from Brazil games in a bad place, I think. Very emotional guy, has been slated at home by the press and fans. I think this has affected him too. I mean, what's the excuse for all the other players as well?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Now, you mentioned Barnes and Barnes's lack of defensive, impetus when it came to the first goal. Sure. And obviously, we've got two world-class wingers going forward. I mean, Barnes is getting up there into the world-class stage because every time he plays, he scores. And that's what you want from wingers.
Yeah.
But I don't think he works as hard as what Gordon does when he's on it. Now, if Gordon's on the left wing, does that goal happen?
Would Gordon be?
Don't know.
I think Gordon would be charging that player down.
Yeah.
And Walker, a lot of people have said that. I had a bit of a, not an argument, but a discussion online today. Someone said, and it really wound me up, that Gordon's been the worst player this season.
No, he hasn't.
For the whole team, right? And I put up some stats showing that he's created 11 chances, which is 50% more than anybody else in the team individually. Or he's played more minutes. I don't care. He's still created 50% more than anyone who's been on that football pitch. Joe Willock's got the best ratio of creating assists because he's only played a game and a half, and he's managed to create 5 chances. But Anthony Gordon last season was involved in 21 goals and assists. That is world-class figures.
Yep.
Why are we now saying to Gordon, and everyone's going to say transfer window, we haven't bought a right winger. But for me, Barnes is the one that should be sacrificed to play on the right wing, and Gordon should be asked to do what he does best, and that's play on the left wing like he did for England in those 2 games, create and score goals, and run his backside off. Because that's what Gordon was good at. And at the moment, we're swapping and changing all the time. There's no fluency. No one's getting back into their rhythm anymore. And I think that is the reason. And also, Gordon, by the way, yesterday was involved in 11 ground duels and won 5 of them. There was only one more player was involved in more ground duels and won more, and that was Bruno. Bruno was involved in 13 and won 7. But everyone says Gordon was terrible yesterday, and his body language is terrible, and he wasn't involved. Yes, it was terrible in getting back sometimes, but he was involved in a lot. And people don't give him that credit and see it. And it drives me nuts sometimes.
Well,
but do we need Gordon back on the left and playing full 90, getting back to his best job?
I wonder if it affects him being over, not on the left, because, mentally it might throw him off or something. But it just strikes me odd that the people that had the closest chances, well, of course, Barnes scored, and Schär should have scored, or Schär should have given it up, right? But I mean, you think it shouldn't be coming from Barnes and Schär the last couple of weeks. You think, where's Gordon? Where's Isak? And if you watch, closely, Isak was really off, really slow, and Gordon just didn't seem to put the effort into getting around the pitch. So that's what really stuck out for me, was like, there's no energy. And, other guys get energy if they see Gordon running around. I'm sure that bleeds off, to other people. And it's like, yeah, we got to get with it, And there was none of that yesterday. I didn't see anybody hustling the way I expected.
I saw it a little bit in the first half, but not a lot.
Yeah, early on it was okay, but then it just dropped off so abruptly. I just couldn't get over it.
The other thing to point out as well, and I've heard it of a couple of people now, it's even been put in our group, has Bonds had a say on how we have our intensity now? So Eddie Howe used to have us all guns blazing. All those injuries came out because of that, because of the way we played. But we didn't have the squad depth to be able to carry it on, which we do now. But maybe I've heard Bonds has had a word with Eddie Howe and said we need to be more intelligent with our energy and our press. Use it when we can, but don't overuse it like we did last season. We used it a lot. Do you agree with that, Dan, or do you think that's just a sort of I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it?
I've been wondering that myself. I've been wondering whether or not the change in discipline and training, the change in discipline in our playing approach has come as a result of Bunce being added to the training team. But yeah, let's just say from the beginning, this season we've been lucky. We've been really lucky in how we've been performing and still getting results. And let's come on, guys. It's our first loss in 5.
We'll come to that later. But panic. That's one of our things we're going to talk about.
But a team that obviously has not gotten themselves out of second gear thus far. Ian, what would you say?
For me, I think that court's a load of shit. I really do.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because we've still got the same players that we've had. And if somebody's trying to tell you, I think we've just been so unlucky with injuries.
Yeah.
And I think if somebody's...
We were last season, 100%.
Right, from above, right, where do we get our success from? From high intensity, from high press. It's the same place, so that it's in them to do it. And if somebody above is trying to tell them to do something completely different, Eddie, for me as a manager, I would just be saying, yeah, you've got no chance, because these are the players what I've worked with for a long period of time, and you've just come from here and you're trying to tell me to change what we're doing, what we're great at. Because you've got to remember, these players got us into a Champions League.
Right.
And it didn't get us into a Champions League by playing slow, possessive,
Right.
no counter-attacking football, not a high press. I just think we're going through a really, really, I want to say rough, harsh, because again, because we're still sitting pretty in the league, because we've had a really poor performance down at Fulham. I think that's pretty harsh. But there's still some players still finding the feet. That's been out for a long time. Joe Willock, Ollie has played for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, so this, for me, coming from above, I don't get it. I really don't.
Okay.
I'll throw this one at you.
I think it's another excuse to deflect of how bad we've been playing, in my opinion. I think there's more to come from us. I really do. I think Eddie Howe's now going to get... He's finding this right balance of the players that's available, which he never had for a full season. And the formation change, I don't think's right, because we haven't got the players to make that formation change, because we're in that wave. We've always played a 4-3-3 or 4-5-1 out of possession. It's just getting these players, in my opinion, all of them, in the right direction. I don't know what's happened. We've heard vicious rumours of pre-season, and we've had Euros and different tournaments, and it's just getting these players settled on the ground now, all in the right direction. And I'm sure the next couple of games, I think we will become a much better team going forward. At this present time, since the start of the season, I don't think we've been at it. At times we've been good, but at times we've been very, very poor and being very, very lucky. And
yeah, you know,
we're talking about the high intensity very quickly. And we have changed the way we're playing, though, because we're trying to play a more possession-based game. We had 61% of the ball yesterday. We didn't do anything with it, really. We didn't break them down. We were watching our team press forward and then watching Fulham break on us, which is what I would prefer to see personally. What we did when we got Champions League football is we let teams come onto us and we counter-attack them. I prefer to play that way.
The frustration thing for me is you can have all the possession in the world, but when you're trying to penetrate in good areas and you hand the ball over and just by giving it away, then you're getting counter-attacked or not being hurtful in what we do. Have players
to play that possession-based football?
Our final play pass at this present time in the final third has been really, really poor. So you can have as much possession, what you want, across the back lines, across the midfield, but if you're not hurting teams, what they're doing to us, counter-attacking, playing on the front foot, we need to be doing that. But you've got to remember, Gordon's been poor. Harvey Barnes has pulled us out the shite. Isak's been non-existent, but I'll defend Isak. I will defend him because his service being into him has been awful. He's done all his work in the wrong areas. He's been playing with his back to goal and on sometimes on the D, on the halfway line. When was the last time you've seen Isak do his skill on the edge of the 18-yard box by a good player and finding what he's good at? We haven't done that. So that's what we need to improve on.
Done him a disservice. Yep.
Isak had a few chances to do that yesterday, and it looked like he just decided, I don't know if I can get around this guy. And that was not like him, you know. I was thinking he was going to challenge somebody and go right around him, and he kind of looked and gave the ball up, and it was like, oh, man, is he hurting or something? You know, the other thing is, like, I think Fulham were happy to let us have possession. You know,
they were, because they knew they were going to break on us.
It wasn't us controlling the game. It was like they were letting us do it, because then we would be passing it around and give the ball away like 3-4 times in a row. I mean, it was madness.
Yeah,
it was terrible. Right. We'll move on from that. We'll go to the second half, because the second half he made his changes again at half time. Oh, go on. Sorry, go on, Dan.
Sorry. Do we want to talk about Pope at all more, about just palming the ball into the net? As I said, I mean, we said it in the comments. Was it subconsciously protecting that shoulder? I don't know, because we've seen him dive on balls. Yeah, he had a great preseason. You know, he
pulled off a save to that side in the game, so I don't understand why you know, maybe it was the instinctive thing. I don't know. Maybe because Smith Rowe
Maybe he
was
saw it too
close.
late.
And
Maybe he saw it too late.
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a tough one. Tough
Second
one.
half.
Well, yeah, we'll quickly do the shout outs. Diacro, our amazing sponsors, $40 gift card for this month will be given away to one of our lucky members. But you can also get 20% off using code BARS20. The link is in the description below. And Football Prizes have the most incredible raffle running at the moment. A full signed Champions League shirt and all these other shirts available to win as well. It's $2.95 a ticket. It's 999 tickets. But the shirts are phenomenal. I mean, there's Sandro Tonali, Miguel Almiron, Shaw, Joe Linton, Matt Target, Kraft, Hall, Harvey Barnes, Sven Botman, all up for grabs in this raffle. So please consider checking them out. Link is in the description. And they're also the sponsor for our night.
Oh, great.
So they're sponsoring us. Can't wait for this on the 16th of January. We have a special guest lined up, but we're waiting to see if he's bringing a mate along with him. It's not a footballer, unfortunately. We tried to get Nobby, but he got sacked and he's back in Peru and we can't afford his flight over just for one night. So we have an amazing guest lined up and hopefully his friend's going to come along. And the reason why it's going to be an amazing guest is because I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint. It's right in the middle of a January transfer window and these are the guys you want to be asking questions to.
Nice.
So we have, exactly. So
Good.
I can't wait for this. It's £10 per person. All the money's going to Stanley Deaf Club and the NUFC Food Bank. You've just got to contact Superfan Dan. There's his email address, and that is also his PayPal account to make a payment if you want to do it that way. But there are other alternatives if needed. Thank you.
Let me know.
Second half.
Yep.
Dan will sort you out.
Can I just say before obviously go to the second half?
Go on. Hey, Dan, what are you doing? This is your channel.
I was so willing for Joe Willock to start this football match.
Yes, me too.
And Sandro Tonali. And
yeah,
I was disappointed. I really was. Which is such a shame.
But it was amazing that Eddie Howe made that decision to drop Sean Longstaff where everyone's been banging on going, he's his love child and you'll never drop him. He's got pictures on him. He must have a video on him. Must be something going on.
I just expected so much more from Joe. I was so excited when he started. I just thought we're going to get that energy, going to get them legs, and it just didn't work out. I was really disappointed.
Ian, is it because he and J7 play essentially the same position?
But he swapped. See, for me, he put Joe Linton on the right hand side, put Joe Willock on the left, which just didn't seem to work at all. Which just looked a little bit. So for me, you know, if you looking back at it, was Isak really fit? Did he take a gamble on Isak? Like I said on the show on Friday night, was it really that infamous to put Anthony Gordon through the middle to rest Isak and then put Joe Linton high left to bring Tonali in and Willock and Bruno? I just think we could have been so much better, but we just don't know if Isak was totally fit.
Yeah,
I just
agree.
don't know.
Right, second half. Murphy comes on. I was like, what? Where's Tonali?
Yeah.
But it worked because literally straight from the kickoff, the ball. Hall came on as well. I forgot about Hall for Kelly, which again he needs to figure out which one he wants to start and be like stick with them, give them a chance because I think hauling them off at half time as a left back, I think it's a bit silly. But anyway. The start, it was a fast start. 32 seconds in, we score. You know, Murphy plays a lovely 1-2 with Isak in the middle. Probably Isak's best involvement in the whole game. Probably his only involvement. And Murphy plays a lovely ball in the inside of the left back to Harvey Barnes. I thought Harvey Barnes was going to take it first time. He didn't. He took a touch. And I thought at that point, the defender's got back. He's going to block him. But no, he just calmly rolled it around the defender into the bottom corner. Didn't celebrate, which was brilliant. He ran, they all got the ball, they all ran back to the centre circle. And do you know what I was thinking? West Ham.
Yeah, we're going to take them.
I got those vibes, the way that they got the ball at the net, ran back, thought, right, we're on it. This is it. They've had to kick up the backside. We're going to do it. And then Fulham were just dogged down all the way through that second half. They didn't give us many more chances.
No,
but we'll talk about the goal first of all. It was a great goal, wasn't it?
Can't take away anything from, well, you know, all three goals could have been prevented. But it was a great goal for Fulham. It was a bad pass from
just our goal. Talk about our goal.
our goal. Oh shit!
Yeah, our goal was mint.
Yes, Harvey Barnes. I had to think. Hey, remember we were at the pub at 7 a.m. So I tried to stay off the beer until the second half. So but with each successive goal, it just no, it was a great goal. It was. My mind's somewhere else. Ian, John, you talk about the goal for a minute. I got to think for a minute.
Go on, John.
Well, I know there's criticisms about Barnes, on defense or covering a guy, but when it comes to attacking, I just love the guy, and I love the way he crosses in front of, and he's always. They try to keep him on the side. He cuts across, and things open up that way. And either he's going to pass it or he's going to blast it, and I love it. And another blast from Barnes. It's like, what do you know? So I think that leads to complications because, I think Gordon keeps waiting and thinking, I'm going to be on the left. We're going to find something else for Barnes, but I don't know. I don't. As long as he keeps scoring, I don't know how they fix that. And I don't know.
He's a traditional inverted winger, isn't he, Ian?
Yeah.
He's not naturally left-footed. And he just bangs goals in from when he cuts inside. He gets 20 yards out and he fancies a shot. And that's what we've been missing for a while. I mean, how many goals have we scored from outside the 18? In
more than what we did last season.
Right. Exactly. So it's I like seeing Barnes out there. I agree with Ian. Maybe Isak wasn't 100% fit, and maybe we should have been playing with Gordon in the middle and forcing Barnes to the right and playing J7 wide left. I was happy to see Murphy come on because he has genuinely given us a bit more fluidity out on that right-hand side, but I think he wasted several crosses yesterday. He didn't do what we expected him to do. I was surprised. Well, I was happy to see Lewis Hall come on as well because he really does bomb forward from that left back slot. It leaves Dan Burn, exposed, sometimes. But I mean,
chasing a game. I suppose it's a good idea to have a more attacking left back.
My thing with Barnes is you can't argue with his stats right now. 7 goals in 23 involvements. I mean, that speaks for itself. And yes, he was out for a long time last season, and he may be trying to get back to his full fitness. Maybe we haven't seen the best of Harvey Barnes yet.
But, Dan, is part of that the fact that we're not doing the counterattack thing right now? We talked about saving energy and all that stuff, but is it the fact that we're not doing the counterattack and you're not seeing Gordon racing down the side or Isak one-on-one with somebody, and it comes down to, okay, we got possession, we got to cut across, and maybe we take a shot?
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something missing there because I expect Gordon and Isak to have lots of goals at this point, at this point in the year, or at least more than Barnes.
More than what they've got, yeah.
And they have 2 goals. They have 2 goals between them, where Harvey's got 2 on his own. So
Just a thought. Yeah.
Just got a quick one very quickly before you jump in. Someone just messaged on TikTok on Dan's video. I think it's brilliant. Good hat, mint shirt. I think I like this person.
I'll have to go find that. That's brilliant.
Brilliant. I was like, that's fantastic. Right, go on, Ian.
Before the game, I put a tweet out about Joe Linton saying he's going to have a brilliant game because Tonali's breathing down his neck. Now, for me, Anthony Gordon's now going to have to step up the game because I think he, in his mindset, thinks he can just turn up and do what he wants and still play. Now, Eddie Howe's got to be brave now and just say, look, you ain't doing the business at times. You're going to have to come out. I know you put your stats up, Baz, right? but in my opinion, at times he's just, his attitude doesn't seem the same. His attitude, his body language is not reading as we've seen Anthony Gordon at his peak. What he was fantastic. Harvey Barnes is doing, in my opinion, a better job than Anthony Gordon on the left-hand side.
Maybe that's what it needs, though. Maybe it needs him to drop to the bench for one game just to give him that kick up the backside.
Yeah, well,
why not?
I was surprised. I was surprised Eddie wasn't yelling at him, because he was really loafing around for a while there. And the people I was with watching the game, they were like, "Take him out, pull him out." You know, he just wasn't himself.
Yeah.
And maybe the fact that Barnes is thriving over there is really, making him pout even more. I don't know. But it just seemed like he was like not in.
Well, I think at halftime they were having a chat about, I think they changed the formation and they played Gordon more as a 10. And I think that was the conversation he was having as they were walking off the pitch. I don't think it was about having a bollocking with them or telling them off or anything like that. I think it's like, right, this is what I'm going to be doing in the second half. And it wasn't just Eddie doing that to Gordon. Silva was doing that to his players as well when they were walking off. So both of them were doing it. So I was just saying, this is what I'm going to be doing.
So just because you're Anthony Gordon, you're not having a good time out wide, you put you in a 10 and then not have a good time. Why not put Miggy in his favourite position and put him in as a 10 and just let him? I
would love to see Miggy as a 10.
Right.
I mean, you guys know more about us than Miggy as a 10. Dan, you're on mute.
What I'm saying is just because you're playing bad just doesn't give you the goddamn right to play a football match.
Right.
So no, I absolutely agree. But I think he was just talking to, I think everyone got kind of out of place about why he made a beeline for Gordon at half time, like he was going to give him a bollock and anything like that. I don't think it was that. Eddie Howe wouldn't do that in public. He would do that in the changing room.
Yeah, probably.
So that's the reason why I just wanted to cover that, because I just think it was literally tactics he was talking. He was saying, this is what I'm going to do with, this is the changes I'm going to make. Get yourself ready, get your head ready playing as a number 10. And I think the formation suited us better in the second half with the players we had, because we actually created more chances.
And do you know what is, Baz, as well, mate? I seen a comment, mine, about when I said about Bruno being captaincy. Somebody said nobody's going to drop Bruno just because he's now been given the captaincy.
Oh, I remember that.
Right, and I couldn't believe what Newcastle fans now accept. Again, this is the point I'm making. Just because you're captain, you can play bad and just warrant the right to play. Do you know what it is? You don't do that. And if
he's dropped Gordon before, and I think he will do it again if he feels he needs to.
Yeah, so I'm telling you now, Tonali, if he's not doing that, Bruno, drop him and put Tonali in, because he's just as good or even better than Bruno, by the way, to take our midfield forward if he's not doing the job.
Right, we're running out of time. We've got to cover Shaw. What was he thinking? Now, when that high press, weird to see Shaw that far up the pitch, but it worked. He won the ball. He smashes it wide when all he had to do was square it 4 yards to Isak, who had an open net. Now, is that because he's a centre-back and he doesn't have that peripheral vision or that sense of, awareness that Isak's to the left of him, or does he just think this is too easy for me? I'm just going to bang it in the back of the net myself. I
think he blasts it from distance, and I think he thought, "Oh, I got this." Boom, without even thinking of Isak. But when you look at the replay, it's like, "Oh my God, Isak is right there." And the guy next to him, Simon from San Diego, he goes, "I missed that because he wasn't 30 yards out." but that was our chance, man. That was our chance for a point. We would have walked out of that ugly mess with a point. But
we might have went on and won it because it was still quite early and there's still 20 minutes left, I think. Ian. Yeah. And what are your thoughts on it? I mean, I told you about last week that Barnes potentially should have slipped in Gordon instead of shooting, but he scored. That, for me, was one of those moments, if you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And he did, and he's damned for it because he missed, and there was a much easier pass to the side. It's like one of those FIFA goals when you're playing against your mates, you all frigging hate because all you do is exit to the side of the keeper and your striker scores in an open goal.
Yeah. If it felt any other defender, I would have probably thought you should have passed it. But normally Fab Shaw's, what it is, he's so cool at taking penalties. He takes free kicks. He's got composure. If that goes in the back of the net, we'll go, what a great goal, Fab Shaw. Again, He creates. We spoke about Fab on Friday night, Baz, and how good he is, and how he pops up in areas where other centre halves don't. Again, he's in a position where normal centre halves, that's centre forwards role. What he's done. I am certainly going to criticise Fab Shaw for taking a chance. The easy pass was there, obviously, but 99% of the chance, if you were a centre forward, would you have passed? No, definitely not.
Beardsley would have.
I don't think he would. Beardsley would have.
Oh, he would have. Andy
Beardsley.
Cole would have been standing right next to you and there you go, Coley.
It's one of them where, for me, it's great when you look at it and go, he should have passed. You know, but Fab's got great composure.
Yeah.
You know, normally he's just took a punt.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he was being aggressive and he stole the ball, and then he just missed the shot that he knew he could make.
Yeah.
And
I think the goalkeeper's decision, John, was terrible, wasn't it?
Oh God, I don't know what the keeper was doing.
What he was doing there, I don't know what he was doing, but he stepped in. It was just instinct to try and get it as early as possible. But I think he's just seen the goal. He's seen the limelight. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I'm not going to hold anything against Fab Shaw because I think he's world class.
No, he's
I'm
great.
not going to hold it against them. I just think he should have passed it because that's the kind of player I am. I always think if someone's in a better position, you give them the ball.
I didn't think he should have passed it until I saw the replay, and then I went, "Oh, that probably would have been better," because I trust the guy. I trust the guy with his shot.
Yeah,
and I think that's what he was thinking. It's like, I got this.
There was another big chance in the game, Dan, if you're available. Gordon down the left-hand side. I thought he should have scored as well. We hit it straight at the keeper.
It's just right now it's confidence. I truly believe that. I just think something's not right up here. I don't know if it's if anybody watched the what does Gary Neville call his
the overlap.
The overlap. If you watch the overlap, that gave me a great insight into Anthony Gordon's preparation for game day. And I mean, it turned him into a completely different player for me. And something's not working for him right now. He needs to figure out what it is. He goes into his room and he's absolutely quiet for a couple of hours or something like that, and he concentrates. Something's not working for him right now, and it's showing in his style of play. He's not. His accuracy is not right. His dribbling ability is not as keen as it was last season. He's just I'm not going to mention having his head turned or anything like that. I don't think that's the case at all. I think something else is. I don't know if it was the Euros that he's lacking confidence because he knew he was the first name on the team sheet every game, and yet he wasn't. And he got Southgated. But something's not right with Anthony Gordon right now, and we're seeing it. It's being played out on the pitch, and if that means he has to be dropped, and give him some time to figure that out, so be it. But yeah, I mean the accuracy is missing. His boots are world class. I mean, and he can put balls in from all over the place, and they're sneaky goals. When he scores, he's scored some really sneaky goals, but that one was just it was tame. Lackluster. Yeah, tame. Yeah, good word. Thanks.
Tame.
Now, Baz, there's a few things that I think about Anthony Gordon. I mean, I'm not a one for speaking, but I think his hairstyle is shit.
A lot of people have said that.
Right?
The Mohawks doing nothing for him.
The wind-up for Tonali at the weekend was unreal, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, well, he was playing, he was dyed his hair and he hadn't. That was brilliant. I didn't fall for it. I just stayed away from that because I thought,
beautiful blonde locks.
Yeah, there's no way he would do that to that beautiful dark hair that he's got. He's taken on Fabian Shaw for that look.
That killed me.
The other thing to very quickly mention, because I want to get a little bit of your insight on Tuesday night because we are really running out of time. Nick Pope's faced 100 shots in 5 games.
Good gosh.
No kidding.
And that is nowhere near the standard that we had in defence in the last 2 seasons.
Agreed.
I mean, especially the Champions League season, we were dogged as a team. And I think that's what's missing personally. I think it's the doggedness. I think it's the togetherness, the defending as a team, and then breaking as a team. Everything just seems to be disjointed at the moment. So hopefully we'll sort that out. But 100 shots is terrible in 5 games.
So do we need to send him to Austria to do the motor car
I think that's a good
run around
idea.
the link? Do we need to send them to Atlanta and play baseball for a little bit? Because every time they come out of one of those, they are as together as they possibly could be.
I think they need to go down a coal mine and know what it's like.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go. Right, very quickly, Tuesday night obviously is a big cup game, a very important game now for us to try and maybe try a different formation. I know we don't really want to do that in a cup because we want to get through in it, but we are playing Wimbledon, who are a League One team. This is an excellent chance to get through to the next round and get the ball in the hat again. But we've got to do something without playing the full first team, because we've got Man City at the weekend as well, which is massive. On Saturday, we're doing Tuesday, Saturday, which we had problems with last season. Ian, what do you think the score is going to be? And do you think he's going to play a very strong team or a half a team?
Right. My take on Eddie takes this competition very, very seriously. I think he'll switch things up and he'll give minutes to players that need them. For me, momentum's key, and we need to win. We need to get this.
Absolutely.
We need to come away from a lackluster performance yesterday to a performance that sets a statement out to say we're back. Now, it's the line where he draws what first teamers he puts out. I think it'll be 85% to do it. I'll be very surprised. I think Isak won't start, but I think Asula will start. Tonali will play. I think it'll be a very, very strong side. Kelly will come in. Miggy will come in. So I think we'll put a really good, strong side out, hopefully to get that result that we'll possibly need, because anything less going into that Manchester City game is suicidal, and I don't think Eddie Howe will let that happen. I really don't. We've done
you think Dubs? You think Dubs in goal?
I think he'll play Dubravka, but I think it'll be safe hands as well. I think he'll be fine with that. We can't afford to do a Cambridge in the FA Cup.
Right.
This is a chance now where we'll get a little bit of confidence back. I know it's against. I'm not disrespecting the team, a lower league side. We need to get the confidence back. And a good performance with that, in my opinion, is nothing but acceptable to go into that game, because I believe we'll raise our game 110% against Man City. But this result on Tuesday is so important.
Yeah.
I'll agree with all that.
Yeah, that's dead on. That's why I was so upset about losing yesterday, because I said, look at the schedule ahead of us. We got a tough schedule coming up in the Premier League. So yeah, if Ian's right, if we can turn it around, it'd be nice if Isak or Gordon or somebody got their energy back, But I think Ian's right. Probably Isak's not going to start. Yeah, I'm hoping we can pull this one out. I think we can. And you're right. The benefits to that are great. And by all means, get some guys some minutes. Now's the time.
I'm going to go 3. I'm going 3-0, Baz.
3-0.
I don't think we're going to. As Ian said, I think we'll have an 85% strong side. I think the guys that are going to get minutes, who need minutes, want to show that they belong out there. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Miggy goal. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Tonali goal. I think they want to be out there and show that we're back. Our team is not faltering here. We're going through a bad patch, an unlucky patch. Yesterday or the weekend was unlucky for us. Let's step it up, Matt. Let's step it up one. And to that end, Ian, maybe the cup is when you drop Bruno and Trippier comes in and he's the captain and he pushes us forward. I don't know. Have we heard anything about Wilson?
No, he's
Oh, he's not back for months, apparently.
I know. I just
back in October, so
yeah.
You know,
Ridiculous.
I disagree a little bit, Dan. I think we've been very, very lucky, and it finally fell apart at this Fulham game. I think we've been lucky to get the results we've gotten because we haven't looked that great this year.
Yeah.
But you're right. You're right, Dan. We, let's get some guys that are energized to get some minutes in there and see what we can do. And I go 3-1. I think we'll win 3-1.
3-1. Ian, what was your score?
Well, I've took 4 now in the Super 6, so I'm going to stick with 4 now.
There you go.
Wow.
All right.
I haven't even looked at Super 6, to be fair, for Tuesday.
Yeah.
I got 11 points this weekend. I got nothing today.
Do you know
I had Brighton 2-1 and I had Man City 1-0.
Yeah, I got 2 points.
I'm going 2-0 Tuesday night, I think, but I'll have a proper look. I just want to quickly have a little say. Obviously, this is the league table. We're still 10 points. We're only 3 points behind Man City after 5 games. If someone told me we'd be 3 points behind Man City after 5 games, I would have snapped your hands off it from the start of the season. Yes, we haven't had the performances that we would have liked. We can't win every game, and losing to Fulham away is not a massive deal, to be honest with you. And I'm not worried yet at all. And I think it's time for us just to reflect a little bit, let the dust settle. I would be worried if we weren't creating chances and playing poorly and losing games. We're playing poorly, but we're creating chances and we're still picking up points. That is a good sign, because it means when we get it right, we will get it right. You know, it's not a Steve Bruce era. Like people keep on going back. It's like watching Steve Bruce. That's not. Steve Bruce never had 61% of a football. Steve Bruce never, ever went over double figures in shots and created chances. Steve Bruce never had 10 points after 5 games. Let's just relax a little bit. Just realise that yesterday, yes, the performance wasn't there. And we finally got beat because we deserved to get beat. But we still could have snatched a point and won that game had things rolled our way a little bit. Still think the referee was pretty poor. But it's not to be downhearted. It's not all this Eddie Howe out stuff. Let the manager and the players get it right and support the team. That's what you're there for. You're there to support, not slag off, not go to the players and tell them how shit they are. You're there to support them and pick them up when they're down. That's our job as fans to do. As Ian says, we're not just there to be entertained. We're there to be part of the journey and part of getting those players to perform to their best levels. And we only do that if they're in a good atmosphere. Look at Nunez. He's been hammered at Liverpool. He's had to come off social media because it's getting to him. Players do see these things and they are human after all. Yep. So let's just remember that. And let's hope we get a big result on Tuesday night. Mauro is doing the watch along because I'm on nights. So we wish Mauro all the best as he loves doing it. And we'll catch you all again very, very soon. Probably Friday night, I think, for the look ahead to the City game. And then I'll be available for the watch along it'll be Thursday night. Sorry, guys. Thursday night because I'm on night shift Friday night. And then I'll be doing the watch along after a few hours sleep.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for coming on. As always, panel's been amazing. Chat has been lit.
Man City will be at 4:30 in the morning out here. So we'll see. The pub won't be open, but I have to be there at 7 a.m. to do the Premier League Saturday. So we'll see. We'll see if I'll be on the watch along.
You'll have a few beers before then and watching the game. I know you will. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you Thursday. Take care.
All right, lads.